Champions League's most potent goal-scoring threats in action this evening in Harry Kane and Kvaratskhelia this evening. In terms of the top scorer race in this season's Champions League, the Golden Boot for this season's competition, Kylian Mbappe leads the way with 15. Harry Kane has 13 to his name, with Kvaratskhelia with 10. Luis Díaz and Ousmane Dembele also with 7 and 6 respectively. No wonder we saw 9 goals in Paris this time last week. Well, let's hope for more of the same. The referee is João Pinheiro of Portugal. The VAR is Marco De Bello of Italy. And so both teams detach from their huddles. Bayern Munich in an all-red strip this evening is a debut of next season's shirts. And prior to this game, they asked all supporters to follow suit, wearing all red this evening. For Paris Saint-Germain, they're in their change strip of all black. And it is going to be the home side to get us underway. Arsenal are waiting for their opponents in the final. Europe is waiting in expectation for a game similar to that at the Parc des Princes last week. Volume 2 of this blockbuster is about to get underway here at the Allianz Arena. It's Bayern Munich up against Paris Saint-Germain, and it's Bayern Munich to get us underway. The first kick of the ball from Luis Díaz. The home side attacking the left to right as we look at it here from the Allianz Arena in the first half. And as if I need reminding you, it's Paris Saint-Germain 5, Bayern Munich 4, the aggregate score going into this second leg. Harry Kane gives the ball away quickly. Upfield it goes in towards the possession of João Neves, and it goes towards the path now of Vitinha. Vitinha towards there, Emery, back to Vitinha again. On the halfway is Marquinhos. Infield to William Pacho. Pacho inside the centre circle. Just inside his own half here for Paris Saint-Germain. Marquinhos will play it forward, right foot along the right-hand side. The ball's going to trickle all the way towards Manuel Neuer between the sticks for Bayern Munich. Being chased by Désiré Doué, but it's going to be a comfortable take for the Bayern Munich goalkeeper, who will just calm things down. And inner calm was one of the things that Vincent Kompany was speaking about in the build-up to this game, saying that inner zen is still a key component of this, despite the chaos that ensued in Paris 8 days ago. Bayern Munich had possession, played back to the goalkeeper Neuer, rather dangerously by Upamecano, but Neuer does manage to clear it, left-footed towards the halfway, guarded by Marquinhos. Kane loses out, but one back by Kimmich. Now out it goes towards the left-hand side. Luis Díaz towards the half, up against Marquinhos. We'll play it back in towards the path of Jonathan Tah. Tah inside his area, back towards the goalkeeper Neuer, being pressed by Désiré Doué. And Comet Lima loses it, and here is Fabian Ruiz on this left-hand side. Désiré Doué cutting inside from that flank. Got 2 up against him, edge of the penalty area here for Paris Saint-Germain. One back by Elise on this right-hand side. Dances past 2. Advances towards the halfway. Goes down. But no free kick in the eyes of the referee. It was Nuno Mendes who brought Elise down to the ground. And PSG will have possession with their goalkeeper, Safanov. Well, already, the early couple of minutes, the first 2 minutes of this game, showing an early indication as to the chaos that we saw last week in the French capital. And here comes Paris Saint-Germain with Kvaratskhelia. First time he's been able to get through on this left-hand side. Inside the box he goes. Squares it across! First blood to Paris Saint-Germain! 2.5 minutes in, they have a 2-goal lead on aggregate. And it's Ousmane Dembele who had the simple task from around about 12 yards out of rifling the ball into the roof of the net. The defending champions draw first blood here in Munich. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 on the night. 6-4 to the Parisians on aggregate. And just when Bayern Munich knew they had to get up to a positive start, the ball on this left-hand side, threaded through to Kvaratskhelia. He was in space, and once he's away, you know you're in trouble. Squared it across, left-footed to an unmarked Dembele in and around the penalty spot. Probably couldn't believe his luck. And then rifles the ball home, first time, left-footed, curls it into the top left-hand corner. And it's Paris Saint-Germain who hit the front. A 2-goal aggregate lead to protect. Luis Enrique being lifted high into the sky from his coaching staff. And for Bayern Munich, what was already a difficult task, it's now been made a whole heap harder.
Ousmane Dembele, his 19th goal across all competitions. And that now is a goal in each of his last 3 Champions League matches. And has become the first Paris Saint-Germain player to score in 3 consecutive matches in this competition. Bayern Munich look for a response. Ball given away by Luis Díaz. And Marquinhos will watch it go towards Safanov. He'll launch it forward, right-footed beyond the half. Glanced on by Jonathan Tah. Brought down by William Pacho. Forward it goes, one back by Bayern Munich. Tah infield towards Upamecano. Here's Jonathan Tah, left-hand side, 25 yards out from his own goal. Advancing towards the halfway. Pings it over the top. Nobody going to get there. Díaz does put Marquinhos under some pressure. He plays it back towards the goalkeeper, but Safanov again. Launching it long, beyond the halfway. Upamecano will pick it up, being put under pressure by Kvaratskhelia. Back to Manuel Neuer. It goes. In fact, sorry, it was Fabian Ruiz who was putting him under pressure there. My apologies. Out to the left-hand side it goes. Play back towards the goalkeeper, Manuel Neuer again. 5 minutes gone. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1. Ousmane Dembele's 3rd minute strike, the difference between the two sides on the night. PSG leading 6-4 on aggregate. Forward it goes into the path of Lima. Bayern Munich looking for an instant response here. Into the penalty area, he has it. He's being stood up by William Pacho. Back towards Mikel Olise. Pacho does well to win it back, just catching Olise cold. Plays out to the left-hand side. And he's looking to find Fabian Ruiz, but Pacho was brought down, and so it's going to be a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain, just off centre towards the left-hand side, around about 30 yards out from the goal that he's defending in this opening period. Well, Vincent Kompany said about inner peace and inner calm, but he's going to have to try and embrace the chaos now, the Bayern Munich head coach. They do have a decent record in terms of overturning one goal deficits, or first leg deficit, shall I say. They've done so in 4 of their last 16 UEFA Champions League ties that they've trailed. However, all of these have come in the last 16 on 3 occasions, and once in a quarter-final. They lost the first leg in 5 previous Champions League semi-finals, but have then subsequently gone on to lose every time. As for Luis Enrique, the Paris Saint-Germain head coach, he spoke about the rivalry between PSG and Bayern Munich as that of Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer in tennis, and quoted the great Spanish tennis player by saying that towards the tail end of his career, he got himself up the most for the rivalry matches against the likes of Federer and Djokovic, and that's what his PSG players have got to look at when they're facing opposition like Bayern Munich, and particularly in a cauldron-like atmosphere. It really is a sea of red towards 3 corners of this ground. And that sea of red are going to really have to cheer their team over. 2-goal deficit to make up as we enter the 8th minute of this contest. Back to Manuel Neuer, launches it long, left-footed towards the halfway. Kane's not really had a touch, he's not going to get one there. Olise does well to try and win it back, but PSG turn the ball over. And it goes towards the path of Kvaratskhelia, who's up against Conrad Lima. Back to Fabian Ruiz on the halfway on this left-hand side. Now play back to William Pacho. Pacho forward, in towards the possession of Desire Doué. Loses out. Here's Olise on this right-hand side, middle of the PSG half. He goes to the ground right on this touchline, right next to Vincent Kompany's technical area. And there's going to be a yellow card dished out to Nuno Mendes, and a free kick to Bayern Munich on this right-hand side, around about 30 yards out from the PSG goal. And just having a look at the replay on the monitor, Mendes just scrapes the left boot of Mikel Olise, sending him down to the ground right on that near touch line. And so defensive duty for PSG to do. 8 minutes gone, and they have a 1-0 lead on the night and a 2-goal lead on aggregate. But Bayern Munich with a free kick in a dangerous area. Right-hand side, around about 35, 30 yards out from goal. It's going to be Kimmich to take. He's going to leave it for Olise, rolls it towards the 17. Brings it infield, now glances the ball in. It was a bit of a cross-come shot, but it's going to go over the top left-hand post, and that'll play a go for a PSG goal kick. First real chance they've had to get the ball forward there, Bayern Munich, and they've kind of wasted it, if the truth be told. As we have a look at the goal which separates the two teams on the night, Kvaratskhelia
playing the ball along that left-hand side, drove him acres of space, and again, Bayern Munich not marking Ousmane Dembele or Desire Doué inside the penalty area. And when you leave them two with that kind of space, just know something's going to happen, and usually that's the net bulge. It fell to Dembele 12 yards out, and the rest was history. There's a lot of question marks, perhaps unsurprisingly, about the defending following the goal fest last week in Paris. And Dembele scoring his 7th Champions League goal in 12 matches in this competition this season. And these are the two top goal scorers in this year's UEFA Champions League. 43 goals for Paris Saint-Germain, now making that 44 in the competition. The record for a Champions League campaign is the 45 of
Barcelona back in 1999-2000. And you'd make a case that that may well be broken. They were to make it through to the final. It'd probably be broken tonight if both teams carry on the way they have been over the course of the last few games in the Champions League. Bayern Munich had scored 4 goals in each of their last 4 games at home in this competition, and you sense they might need something similar this evening. Díaz threads it through. It's the path of Kane, but there's a touch en route and it goes straight into the hands of Matvei Stefanov in the PSG goal. 10 minutes have elapsed. A bonkers 10 minutes has elapsed here. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 here in the Champions League on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. It's Jonathan Tah in possession, looking to play it forward towards Conrad Lima, just beyond the halfway. Goes out between the two technical areas. Vincent Kompany gifting the ball to of Nuno Mendes, who takes the PSG throw out to Marquinhos on this far right-hand side. And now over the top it goes towards the half, glanced on by Pavlovic. And now here's Kimmich towards Elise, driving through the middle. Threads it through towards Kane. Kane inside the area, strikes it first time for the later his right boot, deflected en route, and Paris Saint-Germain able to get it away. Here's Fabian Ruiz in possession, driving past 2 on this left-hand side. Kvaratskhelia on the half, turning his way past Conrad Lima, who gets a grapple of his shirt and concedes a free kick as a consequence of it. 5 yards inside Bayern Munich territory on the left-hand side as PSG move forward. Kvaratskhelia turning his way past the Bayern Munich number 27 before they're getting a grapple of his shirt, stopping him from getting away. And a chance here for PSG to get the ball forward once more. 11.5 gone. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 on the night. 6-4 the Parisians lead on aggregate. The second shot by Fabian Ruiz in towards the path of Vitinha inside the centre circle, inside his own half, being pressed by Joshua Kimmich. Back to Marquinhos. Not the best first touch, but play it back towards Stefanov between the sticks. Launches it forward right footed beyond the half. There it's going to be met by Joseph Stanisic, who will play it towards Jonathan Tah inside his own penalty area for Bayern Munich. Now towards Manuel Neuer, who's being chased, but manages to clear the ball away towards the half. Glanced on by Elise, chested down by Kane, back to goal. Out to Elise on this right-hand side, driving towards the edge of the penalty area, looking for reinforcements though. Elise in towards the area it goes, looking to hook it across the face of goal towards the dead ball line, right-footed. It goes out of play, and the decision is goal kick, much to the annoyance of Mikel Elise, who thought the last touch was a PSG touch. It was he up against Nuno Mendes, and Elise played the ball in, came off of Mendes, and then Elise does get a touch to it, but it's inconclusive as to Nuno Mendes whether he got the last one that knocked it out of play. Any which way, PSG with a goal kick, launched forwards, one back on the half though by Alexander Pavlovic. And now driving forward is Jamal Musiala. Musiala now being forced out to the right-hand side. Here's Elise towards the edge of the box down that flank. The near side as we look at it, the right as they attack. Here's Kimmich. Kimmich towards Tah. Tah out towards the left and towards Stanisic. Edge of the box being put under pressure by Zaire Emery. Here's Luis Díaz. Not really been able to get into the game for Bayern Munich thus far. And now Stanisic as Bayern Munich have to play it back inside their own territory. Lima towards the halfway, out to Mikel Elise. Elise 10 yards inside PSG territory on the right. Brings it infield to Musiala, but his pass out right-footed towards Elise doesn't quite connect. Only half cleared though by PSG. Here's Kimmich. Cross goes in right-footed. Too high for Harry Kane, who was lurking in and around the penalty spot. And so Zeremi will pick up on the loose ball, but lose out on the loose ball to Luis Díaz. Díaz inside the box. Plays it towards the path of Elise. Hooked it back from the dead ball line, but a crucial interception from William Pacho gets it away, but only half cleared. Here's Conrad Lime on this right-hand side. Back towards Upamecano. Upamecano towards Kimmich. Bundled to the deck. But the referee says fair play. And here's Kvaratskhelia driving down the left-hand side again for Paris Saint-Germain. He's got Desire Doué just in behind him. But Kvaratskhelia's going to go alone. Acute angle. He's going to take a shot. Comes off of Jonathan Tah towards the near post. And it's going to be a Paris Saint-Germain corner out on this left-hand side. Now Kvaratskhelia Kvaratskhelia is causing Bayern Munich all sorts of problems. When he gets going down that left-hand side, as a neutral, it really is a sight to behold. But if you're a Bayern Munich defender, it really must be the stuff of nightmares. He moves forward with pace, skill and swagger. He set up the first and he tried to get PSG a second, but he has one inside a corner. Musiala finds himself down towards the opposite penalty area. And so Vincent Kompany may be forced into a early alteration here. Quarter of an hour gone, and we've just been able to get our breath back. A pulsating opening 15 minutes. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1. Ousmane Dembele's goal in the third minute, the difference. 6-4 PSG lead on aggregate. Just having a look at the incident which see Musiala down on the ground. Him and Vitinha were grappling for the ball in the other penalty area. Musiala just sticks his leg in on Vitinha, then just gets it stuck somewhat. Back up on his feet now, but he's going to have to trudge the other end of the field to defend a set piece when he is able to come back on. Bayern are going to have to defend this with 10, and it's going to be the PSG number 10, Ousmane Dembele, to take the first corner kick of the night. It's going to be taken on this near side. The left is PSG attack in this opening period. And it's taken short towards Kvaratskhelia, towards Dembele again. Swung in towards the box by Nuno Mendes, left-footed, cleared away by Pavlovic. And here's Elise, who was looking to win it back on the half. In terms of pass accuracy, 76% Bayern Munich, 77% PSG in the opening 16.5 minutes.
Bayern still down to 10.
And PSG looking to make advantage of it. Here's Doué, left side edge of the box, being stood up by Upamecano. Here's Fabian Ruiz in possession. Ruiz will hook it back towards the half and hook it back into the path of Nuno Mendes. Here's Vitinha inside his own half here for Paris Saint-Germain. William Pacho out to Nuno Mendes again. Kvaratskhelia at left side, just inside Bayern Munich territory. Back to the path of Warren Zaire-Emery. Now to Marquinhos, edge of his own penalty area, out towards the right-hand side, and in the middle of his own half was João Neves. Punted forward by Marquinhos once more. Glanced on by Kimmich. One back on the half. Here's Musiala forward to Kane, who turns, plays it out, looking to find Pavlovic, but PSG managed to recover possession. But again, one back this time by Lima, out to Elise, right-hand side. 30 yards from goal, slips on the surge. It's been a very wet day here in Bavaria. Doué wins it back, but the ball goes out, and the throw-in, last touch comes off a Lima, and so it's going to be a PSG throw down there left. As I say, it's been a rather wet day in Munich. The rain has dried up as we've approached kick-off, but don't be too surprised if you see some more or hear about some more inclement conditions this evening. Temperature around about 11 degrees in Munich this evening, and many of the punters that were here for the game woke up to a bit of a wet fanfare first thing this morning. Thankfully, as I say, the weather has dried up as kickoffs approach, but it does make for a rather zippy service this evening. Bayern Munich with possession out on this left-hand side. Luis Díaz just beyond the halfway, up against Marquinhos. Let's get on the inside of him. Manages to do so now, looking for some cover. Plays it out towards Elise. Chests it down, does well to keep it in, but Nuno Mendes looking to nip in with the ball, and not just that, he wins inside a free kick out on this near side. The left as PSG move forward. Been a good battle that between Mendes and Elise so far. Both giving as good as they could possibly get. Usually give the ball cheaply away. Here's Stanisic. And forward on this left-hand side. And then Luis Díaz fouled towards the half by Marquinhos. Bayern Munich free kick. Be taken on this left-hand side. Joshua Kimmich is going to take 10 yards on the edge of Paris Saint-Germain. 19 goal, 1-0 PSG lead, 6-4 on aggregate their advantage. What can Kimmich make of this? Bayern Munich haven't really had too much inside the box so far. Harry Kane has been a rather quiet man this evening. It's going to be even quieter because that free kick is going to be easily headed away by Nuno Mendes. But Lima is putting Fabian Ruiz under some pressure. Ball gets knocked out of play. Throwing goes PSG's way, much to the frustration of the Bayern Munich man, who trails his arms up in the air in protestation against that decision. Well, Vincent Kompany trudging up and down the technical area. We know that Bayern Munich side have been second best in this. The holders of the Champions League, Paris Saint-Germain, showing exactly why they are still the team to beat in this competition. Here's Musiala, loses out towards João Neves. Neves towards Vitinha, who loses out. Harry Kane intercepts high up the pitch. Infield towards Kimmich, 25 yards out. PSG do well to win the ball back. Dembele out towards Kvaratskhelia. Desir Doué on this left-hand side. Driving at Jonathan Tah. Gets on the inside of him, 25 yards out. And then trip to the floor. No foul. Here's Kvaratskhelia left side. Brings it inside. Inside the box he goes. He's going to strike one. Takes the deflection on route. He opened it up on his right foot. Cold effort came off a Bayern Munich player straight into the arms of Neuer. Here's Kane leading the Bayern Munich counter-attack. Driving now. Ran about 30 yards out from goal. Looks to hook it across to Elise, but it is going to fall to Luis Díaz inside the area. Steps inside. Two in black shirts up against him. Cross goes in towards the back post. Glance away before finding Elise. It's going to fall to Konrad Lima. Here's Elise. Back into the path of Kimmich. Cross goes in. Flicked away by William Pacho. Here's Upamecano towards Tah. Tah out to the left-hand side and towards Alexander Pavlovich. Luis Díaz up against Zaire Emery. We're going to get on the inside of him. Gaze him on the outside. Díaz going to strike one on his left foot. And it just goes over the bar. Decent attempt. First real chance that Bayern Munich have had this evening. And it's all on the way of Luis Díaz. Saw the opportunity open up for him. Ran rings around Zaire Emery, who then slipped to the surface. And then from the acute angle, Díaz decided to have a poke at goal. But his effort blazed over the bar. But that's the first time, really, that Bayern Munich have been able to make any kind of imprint in front of goal. There's Safanov launches his subsequent goal kick out of play. We approach the midway point of this first half, and this has been such an enthralling watch. May not have the goals of last week by this point, but this has been a terrific Champions League semi-final second leg. Play with the intensity that you'd want from this stage of the competition, with some of the star power on show. Ball played forward towards Kane, who knew as soon as he was going to make a genuine attempt to play the ball on the left-hand side, we'd see the flag go up for offside against him. Well, Harry Kane, his goal in the first leg made him the first English player to score in 6 successive UEFA Champions League appearances, while he has 17 goals in his last 16 matches in the competition. In matter of fact, he's got 54 goals in 47 appearances across all competitions for his club in the 2025-2026 season. And that's why many are talking about Kane as a potential Ballon d'Or contender. Usually in World Cup year, a lot depends on the progress of his nation at the World Cup. Here's Fabian Ruiz on this left-hand side, playing it forward towards the half of Nuno Mendes. Doué towards Kvaratskhelia, back to goal. Vitinha just on the inside of his own half. Here's João Neves out in towards Ousmane Dembele. Dembele plays it out towards Zaire Emery on this right-hand side. Back to Dembele again. PSG with possession to the edge of Bayern Munich penalty, and now played back towards the half. Vitinha with not the best pass into the possession of Pacho, but he does manage to find Fabian Ruiz out to the left and towards the possession of Nuno Mendes. Kvaratskhelia over the top, looking to find Mendes was looking for a give and go on the overlap, but Lima blocks the path and goes straight into the hands of Manuel Neuer between the sticks. Halfway through this first half, delighted to the UEFA Champions League here on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1. Ousmane Dembele's goal in the 3rd minute, the difference between the two sides. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got the UEFA Europa League and Conference League semi-finals for you, including an all-English tie at Villa Park, Aston Villa against Nottingham Forest. You can listen to that here on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service from 8 o'clock. And Crystal Palace, they take on Shakhtar Donetsk in the 2nd leg of their Conference League semi-final. You can listen to that too here across Flash Score. Musiala losing out inside his own half, high up the pitch. Out to Kvaratskhelia, left-hand side, edge of the penalty area here for Paris Saint-Germain. Neves back into the half of Nuno Mendes. Meccano stuffing out the ball forward, looking to find Kvaratskhelia again. It's going to be a throw into PSG, left side in the middle of the 1-minute half. And it's going to be taken by Nuno Mendes as we pass the 25-minute mark here at the Allianz Arena. 5-4 it began on aggregate. PSG getting the first goal of the night, giving them a 2-goal buffer. 6-4 they lead. Bayern Munich being forced out here. In terms of the stats in this game, both teams have had 3 attempts. Just the one on target so far, that being the Dembele goal in the 3rd minute. Wonder what the next chapter in this enthralling story is going to be. Jean Neves picks the ball up on the halfway, launches out to the right-hand side. Emi was on his bike, but it was too heavy, too much power. And they'll go out for a throw into Bayern Munich on this left-hand side. Not before PSG need to have a look at one of their players, Upamecano, really getting himself on the walls this evening for Bayern Munich. Luis Enrique really happy with the intensity that his side is showing, and it is Mendes who finds himself down on the ground, having been clattered by Upamecano towards the halfway line. There was something almost akin to rugby the way that Upamecano brought him down. We're just having a look at the replay on our monitor. And it really was something that you'd see in the Six Nations as opposed to a Champions League semi-final. Remember, Arsenal the prize in Budapest come the end of May. We will be bringing you that game, of course, live here on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. The date for your diary is Saturday the 30th of May. I'll say that, as well as the Europa League and Conference League final, they're all live here across the Flash Score Live audio commentary service this season. The ball goes out to Mikel Olise, right-hand side, chesting it down towards the edge of the penalty area. Olise now inside the box, but it's inside. Cold effort on his left foot, just over the bar, just over the top left-hand post. They're knocking on the door now, Bayern Munich. And PSG better beware. The first time Mikel Olise's been able to open up that left foot of his. Got on the inside of Nuno Mendes, decided to have a stab at goal. And just over the top left-hand post it went. Having their best spell of the game here with the home sides. And the ball with Kane on the half, out towards Mikel Olise, right-hand side. Got 2 in black shirts up against him. PSG win the ball back as they do a with possession, but Olise was fouled on the half by Fabien Ruiz, so free kick to Bayern Munich on this right-hand side on the halfway. Vincent Kompany will be happy enough for the last few minutes. It'll be Luis Enrique now who's barking out the orders in the PSG technical area. Upamecano with a heavy touch, but manages to just back it away from Kvaratskhelia. Here's Joshua Kimmich with 2 up against him, now to Stanisic. Now back towards the path for Jonathan Tah. Lima edge of his own penalty area. Plays it forward on this right-hand side. Olise was back to goal. Up against Mendes. Back to Lima. We'll play it back to Neuer. Launches it forward. Not the best of kicks from the Bayern Munich captain. And it's one back on the half by Nuno Mendes. Marquinhos loses out. Conrad Lima wins it back. Was looking to find Olise. Appeals for a handball against Nuno Mendes. And the referee does give it. Pretty much the whole of the Bayern Munich coaching staff are up on their feet, and the free kick's actually gone against Bayern Munich. Conrad Lima is not happy. He is absolutely raging. Vincent Kompany having a long conversation with the fourth official. A couple of the coaching staff being told to go away by the Bayern Munich boss. We're just going to have a look at the incident again. It was Lima going to get the ball forwards, and it does connect with the arm, but there is a little connection with the shoulder as well. Vincent Kompany absolutely incensed in the Bayern Munich technical area, and his coaching staff, well, they are up in arms as to how that decision wasn't given against him. They do get themselves a throw in here on the halfway left side. Kane back to goal, chest it down, heavy touch. PSG win it back, but Kane manages to recover the ball towards the half, timing towards the possession of Pavlovic. Pavlovic forward to Elise, this time in a central position. Kimmich being put under pressure by João Neves. Now out to Conrad Lima. Lima towards Elise, the game getting stretched somewhat here. On back by Joshua Kimmich. Launches it forward, looking to find Conrad Lima. Glanced away by Fabian Ruiz, who found himself in a central defensive position. Kane out towards the path for Stanisic on this left-hand side. Luis Díaz up against Marquinhos. Looking to get on the inside of him, does. Inside the box, now drifting outside. Threads it through. Heavy touch by Pavlovic. And he manages to send Zeremi to the floor. Not for the first time tonight as Zeremi found himself there. Here's Stanisic. Goss goes in, looking to find Kane. Only half cleared by Safanov. And then appeals for a handball. It's a clear way by Marquinhos. The Bayern Munich players around the referee. Vincent Kompany absolutely incensed. They are absolutely fundamentally clear. They thought that was handball. The referee, João Pinheiro, says no. It was cleared away by Marquinhos in towards the path of João Neves. They think it came off the hand of Neves as it was cleared away. And I think VAR will say that is a penalty. The arm's in an unnatural position. It collides with João Neves' left hand. It's the second big shot they've had for handball in the space of a couple of minutes. In fact, it was Vitinha who cleared the ball away in towards the path of João Neves. My apologies. And Harry Kane is still not happy. Now, VAR, I'm sure, are going to have a look at this, because it is a clear as day handball. The biggest surprise was it wasn't instantaneously given with the naked eye. And to a certain extent, you can understand the frustration of Vincent Kompany. Luis Enrique just carried on as if nothing happened. And we're going to carry on as if nothing had happened. Here's Bayern Munich in possession on the halfway is Upamecano. 21.5 minutes gone. May not have had the goals of the first leg, but it's been just as breathtaking. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 on the night. 6-4 PSG lead on aggregate. Ousmane Dembele's goal in the 3rd minute, giving them that 2-goal buffer and giving them a foot into the Champions League final against Arsenal at the end of the month. Neuer clearing the ball forward. Cleared away, though, on the half by PSG. Who get themselves a free kick. Upamecano with the foul just beyond the halfway. Yellow card as well. And Bayern just got to be careful here. Just got to keep their heads. There was a couple of clips in there. It's the Stanisic one, which is the one that's been given as a foul, and he has been subsequently yellow carded as a result. And so free kick here to Paris Saint-Germain on this right-hand side, just beyond the halfway. It's going to be taken by Vitinha. It's going to swing in right-footed. In towards the box it goes, to the back post, goes, oh, brilliant save from Manuel Neuer. It was João Neves who made that run towards the 6-yard box, glass header across the face of goal, palmed away of the left hand of Manuel Neuer, and that might have just kept Bayern Munich in the tie. That's a brilliant save from Manuel Neuer. Palmed it away. There was a couple of PSG players towards the back post hoping to poke it home. Kvaratskhelia, one of them. He wasn't able to get there, but PSG will get themselves a corner on this right-hand side. Beer cups being thrown at the corner taker. Manuel Neuer telling the Bayern Munich fans to not do that. Being cleared up by a couple of stewards who make their way onto the pitch to clear them away from the stands. Just waiting for peace to be restored, and I think the referee's sending something over to the forfeit. I think it was saying that was thrown onto the pitch. I can't quite see what it was. I think it might have been a lighter, potentially. Well, 11 minutes of this first half to go. It's going to be Ousmane Dembele to take the corner for Paris Saint-Germain. On the right-hand side, taken short on his left foot. And now here's Vitinha again. He's going to go for goal. Comes off of Elise, out for another Paris Saint-Germain corner on this right-hand side. So we approach the final 10 minutes of normal time towards the end of the first half. Paris Saint-Germain with a slender 1-goal lead on the night, but a 2-goal lead on aggregate. And Bayern Munich have their goalkeeper, Manuel Neuer, to thank to keep themselves in the tie a couple of moments ago. Corner threaded out towards the half of Vitinha. Nuno Mendes steps inside, has space 25 yards out. He takes a shot, that's deflected, but it's going to be a comfortable catch for Manuel Neuer, who launched it forward right-footed, looking to find Luis Díaz. Brilliant defending by Emery. Elise then hacks it up into the air. And it's going to knock the ball out. It's going to be a PSG throw on the right-hand side towards the edge of the penalty area that they are defending in this opening period, of which there's only 10 minutes left. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 of the night, 6-4 PSG lead on aggregate. And what a pulsating game we have seen so far. As I say, not the goals of last week in Paris, but we certainly had the entertainment and certainly had the controversy as well. Bayern Munich felt they should have had a penalty a couple of moments ago. Was waved away by João Pinheiro on the pitch, the Portuguese referee, and Marco Debello, the Italian VAR. Comment line on the half forward it goes in towards the possession of Stanisic. Cross goes in, right-footed towards Kane inside the area. Couldn't quite get there. We'll win it back though, up against Jeremy on the edge of the box. Jonathan Tah on the centre, 30 yards out. Turning now is Luis Díaz. Now Harris is back to goal up against Pacho. Here's Harry Kane. Full possession so far in this game, 56% to Bayern Munich compared to the 44% for PSG. Here's Elise, right-hand side, threads it through, looking to find Stanisic inside the box. He's going to fall loosely here towards Pavlovic. Pavlovic towards Luis Díaz. Díaz up against 2. Tar out towards Pavlovic again. Emery does really well to win it back for Paris Saint-Germain on this far side. Desire Doué towards Emery. Marquinhos clears his lines. There's one back by Upamecano, heavy first touch, and PSG can move themselves away again. They stretch themselves up further up the pitch. It's 4-on-3 with Fabio Ruiz making a run to the air. It's Kvaratskhelia on the right-hand side, looks to play it across towards his path. Comes off of Jonathan Tah. Kvaratskhelia again, turns past his man towards the dead ball line. There's a hook across the face of goal. But Jonathan Tah doing his defensive job to knock it out of play for what will be a Paris Saint-Germain corner again on this right-hand side as they move forward in this first half. Kvaratskhelia popping and weaving, but Tah standing his ground. Another PSG corner and another opportunity to open up a 3-goal lead, which you would sense would probably put the tie to bed before half-time in this second leg. Corner taken short again by Ousmane Dembele. To be floated in by Vitinha again, glanced on by Upamecano. Only half cleared towards the path of Nuno Mendes on this left-hand side. Here's Vitinha. Out towards João Neves on this right-hand side. Now inside his own half for Paris Saint-Germain. And he'll play it back towards Safanov. Launch it forward first time. Beyond the halfway. 9-minute win possession back. Chested down by Jonathan Tah towards the edge of his area. It's been put under pressure by Desire Doué. Back towards Neuer. Out to the right-hand side. That's a Conrad Lima. Lima right-footed. Chested down by Musiala. One back by Pacho. But Lima's going to recover it towards the edge of his own penalty. Not the best to pass back towards Neuer. Who's an interested spectator, but the Bayern Munich goalkeeper gets it away. PSG win it back again, but it's recovered by Upamecano. It's chaos here. Here's Stanisic. Fordle on this left-hand side. Kane looking to get there. Couldn't quite win the flick on. Over the top by João Neves. Brought to ground by Pavlovic. Free kick PSG. Right-hand side, 15 yards from the edge of the Bayern Munich half. 38.5 minutes gone. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1. And that one goal for Ousmane Dembele means it's their 23rd goal in 7.5 knockout games in the Champions League this season. The record is them. Last season, 24 goals in knockout matches en route to lifting the title in this very stadium where they got the better of Inter by 5-0. Here's Olise towards Fabian Ruiz, back on rather familiar turf. Olise towards Kimmich. Kimmich was in a cul-de-sac. Upamecano plays it out though towards Pavlovic. Pavlovic towards Díaz, left-hand side edge of the box, up against Zé Emery and Dembele. Gets past Zé Emery towards the dead ball on it to hook it back in. The ball goes out of play. Last touch off the Bayern Munich number 14 for Paris Saint-Germain goal kick. Vincent Kompany telling his players to focus. They have had the better running of the last 10 minutes or so. Here's Enrique for the first time tonight, looking rather concerned. And part of the reason is they've not really been able to get the ball out to Kvaratskhelia much. But here's Désiré Doué. He's a player who's just as culpable, just as capable, just as destructive. Upamecano managed to clear the ball out of his sights, but it's still going to be a throw into Paris Saint-Germain. In fact, the throw-in's gone Bayern Munich's way, much to the grievance of one or two PSG players. Lima plays it forward on this right-hand side towards Olise on the halfway. It's going to be picked up by Kimmich. Kimmich back to Upamecano, who will thrash it out, right-footed out to the left-hand side. Chested down by Luis Díaz, up against Marquinhos. Díaz inside the area, cuts inside, but it's a heavy touch, and the ball's going to go straight into the path of Safanov in the Paris Saint-Germain goal as we enter the final 5 minutes of the first half here at the Allianz Arena in Munich. It's the UEFA Champions League second leg here on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 on the night. 6-4 PSG lead on aggregate. Here's Stanisic towards the path of Joshua Kimmich. Now Upamecano out to Konrad Lima. Lima, right-hand side towards the edge of the penalty area. He's defending. Been put under pressure by Fabian Ruiz. Here's Upamecano again for Bayern Munich, out towards the path of Luis Díaz. Infield to Upamecano again. Musiala back to Upamecano, being put under pressure by Désiré Doué. Now out towards Kimmich again. We're looking to find Olise on this right side. Eventually manages to play him in, and he finds the underlapping pass to Musiala. Edge of the box. Up against Vitinha. Inside the area it goes. Plays out wide to the dead ball line. Hooks across the face of goal, but parried away by Safanov before Kane could get there. And it's going to be further cleared by Marquinhos. Punted up towards the half, where Stanisic, under pressure from Doué, is going to pick it up and play it back towards Manuel Neuer between the sticks. Here's Alexander Pavlovic towards Upamecano. And now here's Konrad Lima in possession here for Bayern Munich. Just over 3 minutes of normal time to go in this first half, trailing by a goal on the night and by 2 goals on aggregate. Neuer lofts it upfield, looking to find Harry Kane. Digs it down to Olise. 30 yards out from goal. He's got Lima on the overlap. Finds him inside the area. Lima across the face of goal. Right footed. Took a deflection on route. Just took it over the head of Luis Díaz. Emery half clears it. Díaz races to keep it in play. Couldn't quite do so. And with the last touch coming off of his teammate Pavlovic, is going to be a throw into Paris Saint-Germain on the right-hand side towards the edge of the penalty area they're defending, with 2.5 minutes or so left of this opening period here at the Allianz. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1. The first leg, which was the highest scoring European Cup or Champions League semi-final since Eintracht Frankfurt 6, Rangers 3 back in the 1959-60 season. They're going to have to go some way to break the aggregate record. It was 12-4 with 16 goals scored. Eintracht Frankfurt going through on that occasion. Here's Kane on the left-hand side, 25 yards out from goal, but up against 2 or 3 in black shirts. Plays it back. Here's Konrad Lima towards Mikel Olise. Being put under pressure by Fabian Ruiz. Ruiz manages to win it back with Olise trying to dance his way past him. Cleared by Nuno Mendes. Half cleared towards the end of his own box. One back by Konrad Lima. Lima up against Doué. Back to Upamecano again. In turn finds Olise. He's back to goal. Back kills it. Brilliant to the path of Musiala. Inside the air. Space is opened up. Musiala. Brilliant save from the goalkeeper. Musiala opened up his left foot for just inside the area. Low drilled effort. Safanov got down low to his right to parry it away. Bayern Munich a throw though on this left hand side. Inside the box here is Pavlovic. Hooks it back to Musiala. Back to goal. Turns. Strikes. on his right foot, just wide of the right-hand post. Well, he really has got himself into the game now as Jamal Musiala. Decent attempt on his right foot, just thrashed across the face of goal. A couple of opportunities in the space of a couple of moments. The first one forced a good save out of Safarov in the PSG goal. And what they would give to get one back right on the cusp of half-time. Just to add a bit of anxiety to the Luis Enrique team talk. Here's Kane, was looking to find Lima on the right-hand side, 30 yards out. PSG managed to clear their lines into the final minutes of normal time in this first half. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 on the night, 6-4 to PSG on aggregate. Here's Jonathan Tah in towards Joshua Kimmich on the halfway. Upamecano out to the possession of Miguel Olise. Olise steps on the inside of Nuno Mendes. Sliding in was Kvaratskhelia. Kimmich out towards the path of Stanisic. Now Díaz. Sorry, Musiala. Edge of the penalty area. He's going to strike one on his right foot again, but just like his previous effort, goes high and over the bar. But he does get a round of applause from his manager, Vincent Kompany, because he's the one who's really putting PSG to the sword as we enter the first of two stoppage time minutes at the end of the first half here at the Allianz Arena. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 on the night. 6-4 PSG lead on aggregate. Played forward by Safanov. Straight out of play, it will go for a throw, and it's going to be Conrad Lima to take just beyond the half. Short to Elise, been stood up by Fabian Ruiz. Here's Kvaratskhelia, runs out of track. Going to be a 5-minute throw. 5 yards on the edge of PSG territory. Upamecano. Forward it goes towards Musiala. Musiala up against Jam Neves. Here's Stanisic. Full pass forward, looking to find Luis Díaz, and Marquinhos can watch it go out of play for PSG throw. Right hand side, 15 yards on the edge of Bayern Munich territory as we head halfway through the elapsed 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the opening period. Bayern Munich 0, PSG 1, 6-4 PSG lead on aggregate. And Bayern Munich win the ball back. Here's Olise looking to get something back right on the cusp of half-time. Ball goes out towards his path again. 15 yards inside PSG territory, being stood up by Fabian Ruiz. Here's Upamecano. Out to Jonathan Tah. Tah looking to find Stanisic. Stanisic towards the path of Luis Díaz, who lost out, but it's won back by Bayern Munich. Either field looking to thread it in towards Musiala, cleared away, and no one really been able to get a hold of it on the half. Ball goes out towards Kimmich, who's himself bundled to the floor. Bayern Munich will get themselves a free kick right on the cusp of half-time. Kvaratskhelia committing the foul. 2 balls on the pitch, and things are just getting rather heated as Kvaratskhelia finds himself in the book for kicking the ball away. Tempers are getting to flare, particularly in the Bayern Munich technical area. They feel that they've had 1 or 2 go against them in this first half. Well, they could have finished the half with perhaps something back. Free kick, 10 yards inside PSG territory. It's going to be taken by Joshua Kimmich. It's going to be a right-footed delivery just on centre towards the right-hand side. Probably the final play of this first half. Into the area it goes. Glanced on just wide. Was that the opportunity for Bayern Munich? It was Jonathan Tah who got the header away. It was a delicious ball in from Joshua Kimmich, glanced on by Jonathan Tah across the face of goal for around about 12 yards out. Just trickled past the bottom right-hand corner. Bayern Munich have pushed and probed towards the end of this first half, and that's going to be the final opportunity of a frantic first half, in keeping with what we've seen in this time.
But it is Ousmane Dembele's goal in the 3rd minute that is the difference between the two. PSG lead by 1-0 on the night and have a 6-4
May 2025 was the greatest night in the history of Paris Saint-Germain here at the Allianz Arena when they got the better of Inter Milan by 5-0 to finally lift or hoist the UEFA Champions League trophy. Almost 12 months on, they return to Bavaria and now 45 minutes away from returning to the final. Ousmane Dembele's goal in the third minute, the difference between the two sides on the night. But more importantly, it's given PSG a 6-4 aggregate lead going into the second half. The PSG players, well, they're straight out onto the pitch. The Bayern Munich players, well, they are in conference inside the tunnel here at the Allianz Arena. We're about to get going for this second half. For Paris Saint-Germain, 45 minutes away from becoming the first defending winners of this competition since Real Madrid in 2018 to return to the final. As the Bayern Munich, they are looking to make it through to their first final since winning it in 2020 when they got the better of, you guessed it, Paris Saint-Germain in the final in Lisbon. The Bayern Munich players return to the pitch, roared on by the masses here at the Allianz Arena. A big 45 minutes ahead of them. 2 goals required to take this tie to extra time. And perhaps the biggest 45 minutes in the managerial career of Vincent Kompany thus far. He's had his last chance to say words to his players. It's now down to the actions of those he's put onto the pitch. It's a beautiful, idyllic setting, the Allianz Arena. It is a wall of red in 3/4 of it. And they're going to need that red wall to roar in this second half if Bayern Munich are to get back into this UEFA Champions League semi-final tie. Harry Kane has been quiet. Meanwhile, his opposite number 10, Ousmane Dembele, has been the difference maker. We're about to get underway for this second half. PSG to attack the left to right of us. In their all black strip, the scene in Bayern Munich are in all red. And it is going to be the new rugby-esque kick into touch, which is going to get us underway for the second half. João Neves booting the ball out of play for what will be a Bayern Munich throw-in on this right-hand side. Towards the half it goes. PSG win it back, but it's going to be under pressure here. Mikel Olise on this right-hand side is going to get there. It does really well to do so. Wriggles off Nuno Mendes. Ball then trickles and a play will be a throw-in to Bayern Munich. Inside the area it goes. Heavy first touch on Musiala. PSG managed to clear their lines. We'll go through the 2-11s in just a second. No changes at the break. Upamecano out towards the path of Kimmich on this right-hand side. Here's Upamecano towards the possession of Pavlovic. Pavlovic inside the centre circle. Forward to Kane. Back to goal. Lays it out to the left-hand side into the possession of Luis Díaz. Díaz infield towards the path of Pavlovic. Here's Stanisic, 25 yards out from goal, brings it inside towards Jonathan Tah. Quick give and go between him and Pavlovic again. The ball goes out. Paris Saint-Germain throw a minute goal in this second half. The 2-11s look like this. Bayern Munich, Neuer, Stanisic, Upamecano, Tah, Lema, Kimmich, Pavlovic, Olise, Musiala, Díaz and Kane. For PSG, Safanov, Zaire-Emery, Marquinhos, Pacho, Mendes, Ruiz, Vitinha, Neves, Doué, Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. Kane wins the ball and looks to lob it over the top towards Dembele. One back by Nuno Mendes, 25 yards out from goal is Kvaratskhelia. Pacho down on the ground for Paris Saint-Germain. And the ball is going to be kicked into touch as a result of it. And the PSG number 51 is going to have to receive some treatment. A reminder that this is the beginning of a very busy week of action across European competition here on Flash Score, because tomorrow night we will have the culmination of the semi-finals from the Europa League and the Conference League. Aston Villa take on Nottingham Forest and Freiburg take on Sporting Braga. Both of those games live from 8 o'clock. And then in the Conference League, Crystal Palace taking on Shakhtar Donetsk. Strasbourg up against Rayo Vallecano. Both of those matches live here on the Flash Score Live audio commentary. So then we have a full complement of games for the Premier League at the weekend. The early kickoff coming from Anfield. Liverpool taking on Chelsea from 12:30. The 3 o'clock offerings: Brighton against Wolves, Fulham against Bournemouth, Sunderland against Manchester United. Manchester City take on Brentford in the late game.
Whilst on Sunday, we have the final Old Firm of the season live for you, with our Premier League games being Crystal Palace against Everton, Burnley v Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest against Newcastle at 2 o'clock, and then a big game at both ends of the table as West Ham United take on Arsenal at 4:30, and then El Clasico is on Sunday night from 8 as Barcelona take on Real Madrid at the Nou Camp, and then the Monday night game is between Tottenham Hotspur and Leeds, big game at the bottom of the table at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That's also live, of course, here across the Flash Score live audio commentary service. And don't forget, we will have the final of the Champions League, Arsenal against, it seems right now, Paris Saint-Germain from Budapest on Saturday the 30th of May. We will have that live across Flash Score. Play gets back underway, and he'll go back towards Matvei Safanov in the Paris Saint-Germain goal. Launches it forward. It's going to be one back though by Stanisic up against Desiree Doué, and now towards Neuer. Launches it forward, left-footed towards the halfway. Glanced up by Marquinhos. Off the shoulder, as opposed to the hand by the accounts of the referee, João Pinheiro. Remy will play it back towards Marquinhos, being put under pressure by Luis Díaz. Safanov will launch it forward, right-footed towards the halfway, glanced on by Kimmich. Play forward by Tara, going to find Musiala, but recovered well by Zaire Emery, who's being shoved at the ball by Musiala. Wins it back for Bayern Munich and fairly, but given away by Pavlovic. Not really been able to keep a hold of the ball. Pavlovic will play it back towards Kimmich. Tar out towards the possession of Joseph Stanisic. Towards Jonathan Tah, who in turn will play it back to Neuer between the sticks for Bayern Munich. Launches it forward, right-footed beyond the halfway. Glanced on by William Pacho. Neuer comes out, clears his lines towards the half. PSG, though, managed to recover. Doué being shoved by Jonathan Tah. But fair in the eyes of the referee. Upamecano out to the right-hand side. Elise on the half. Looks to thread it forward to Lima first time. Read well by Patrick, is back in position. Launches it forward and then fouled towards the half on this left-hand side. It's going to be a free kick to PSG. 5 minutes of this second half gone at the Allianz Arena. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 on the night, and 6-4 PSG lead on aggregate. 40 minutes away from a second consecutive Champions League final. If they were to make it through to the final, they would break the record of most finals achieved by a French side in the Champions League or European Cup. It'd be their third appearance, and already been tied on 2 alongside Marseille and Reims. They could make a bit of French Football League history tonight, Paris Saint-Germain, if they could hold on to this 2-goal lead. In terms of possession in this game, 60% Bayern Munich compared to the 40% of PSG. 223 passes completed for Bayern Munich compared to the 145 of their French visitors. But it is PSG who have the 1-goal lead on the night and the 2-goal lead on aggregate. Here's Stanisic just beyond the halfway. Kane looking to hold it up, 2 up against it, but managed to play it back to Musiala, who's fouled on the half. It's going to be a free kick to Bayern Munich, left-hand side, just beyond the halfway. And it was Vitinha, the PSG number 17, the guilty party. Played out by Kimmich, looking to find Elise on this right-hand side. Brought down by Conrad Lima, out towards Elise again. Nuno Mendes, edge of the box. Elise still on this right-hand side. Elise was looking to open the angle up and plays it short towards Luis Díaz inside the D. Díaz short towards Stanisic. Kane inside the air on this left-hand side. Up against there, Emery gets the shot away right foot. It comes off for the PSG number 33. We'll come back out towards Jonathan Tah. We'll now find Pavlovic to Stanisic. Infield towards Luis Díaz. Turns back to goal. Being stood up by Marquinhos. Back towards the path of Pavlovic again. Now here is Stanisic in possession for Bayern Munich. Back towards the halfway. And Joshua Kimmich. PSG managing to recover the ball. Pacho stepping out and winning it back. And Desiree Doué looking to play it towards Ousmane Dembele. Both players not on the same wavelength. Too quick the pass fed through to the PSG number 10. And Bayern Munich can bring the ball forward. Here's Luis Díaz, was up against Marquinhos. Luis is out, then brings the PSG captain to the deck. And so the visitors have themselves a free kick left-hand side, 25 yards out from the goal that they are defending in this second half. Díaz was never going to get there, and then once the ball went away from him, Marquinhos played it back to the goalkeeper,
Díaz decided to bring him down in a rugby-like manner. Well, from one goalkeeper to another, because Manuel Neuer has possession now for Bayern Munich. Neuer, who's gets 11 clean sheets in 35 appearances this season, now past the 40-year mark. His appearance at the World Cup in the summer you sense will be his last. Final farewell in the United States as Harry Kane goes tumbling to the floor. Marquinhos the guilty party. Free kick to Bayern Munich. Marquinhos putting his hand in the face of Harry Kane as they both went for an aerial duel. And so opportunity for Bayern Munich, which has been rather sparse in this second half. They ended the first half rather strongly to the home side, but not really been able to get into things in this second period. But Joshua Kimmich for a free kick in a decent position to try and have a go at goal. Just the one player in the PSG wall. It's around about 30 yards out. Central position for Kimmich. Plays it along the floor towards Luis Díaz, left-hand side. Plays it back towards Pavlovic, who has a strike on his right foot. But he punts it high and wide of the right-hand post. First one opportunity that Bayern Munich have had in this second half, and judging by the Costan's reaction of Vincent Kompany, he feels like that was a bit of a waste of a chance. Remember, they need not just one but two to just get themselves in a position to force this tie into extra time. Safanov's goal kicks and his distribution from goal kicks haven't been great tonight. And again, goalkeepers go straight out of play. Upamecano towards the path of Stanisic. Now to Joshua Kimmich. Here is Manuel Neuer between the sticks, being put under pressure by Dembele. 55 minutes gone. 35 minutes to go. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1. Ousmane Dembele's goal in the third minute, the difference tonight. 6-4 PSG lead on aggregate. Musiala goes down under the challenger, William Pacho on the halfway. It's going to be a free kick to Bayern Munich. Another opportunity to try and get themselves up the pitch. And shoved to the floor, Musiala, and the free kick taken quickly. I didn't say past the gut to get there, and to his credit, he gets a touch, but luckily for PSG, Fabian Ruiz was there to reinforce the issue and clear away. Kvaratskhelia on the half on his left-hand side, does well to keep it in. And now turning is Vitinha out and towards the path for Doué. Doué towards the edge of the area. Plays the ball out wide and has a shot with 3 Bayern Munich players up against it, parried away by Neuer brilliantly. Well, that's the first opportunity the Parisians have had in this second half. But Bayern now look to break. Here's Konrad Laimer. Couldn't quite get there. It's going to be picked up by Joshua Kimmich. Out towards the right, but glanced away by William Pacho. Here's Fabian Ruiz driving down this left-hand side for Paris Saint-Germain. Towards Kvaratskhelia. Up against Upamecano. Gets on the inside of him. Kvaratskhelia dances on the outside now. He's going to go for goal. Saved by Neuer at the near post. Struck it well with his left foot. But Neuer able to match the efforts and Bayern Munich able to get it away. Whenever he gets on the ball inside the final third, Bayern Munich have got no answers. Here's Musiala towards Luis Díaz. Trickled out wide to the right-hand side and towards Mikel Olise, who drives at Nuno Mendes. Towards the edge of the area, threads the ball through. Kane at the near post. But a shot by Pacho meant that Kane couldn't get there. And Safanov able to collect to the Paris Saint-Germain goal. Harry Kane wants a penalty. I don't think he's going to be getting that. It was a fair challenge from Pacho, just a bit stronger than his English counterpart. An old-fashioned defensive play, if you ask me. But Bayern in need of something, and in need of something very quickly. Laimer out towards Olise, right side, just inside Paris Saint-Germain territory. Infield towards Laimer, in space in the centre. He's got Stanisic to his left, finds him. Here's Luis Díaz up against Zaire Emery, gets on the inside of him towards Musiala. Musiala towards Díaz, couldn't quite get his twinkle toes, and Zaire Emery able to block the supply line, and the ball goes out of play for Paris Saint-Germain. Goal kick, 57.5 gone. 1-0 PSG on the night, 6-4. The defending champions lead on aggregate. They are closing in on a date with Arsenal in the final in Budapest on the 30th of May. Looking to become the first defending champions to make the final since Real Madrid in 2018. And they're looking to defend a tight aggregate lead once again, because they've come through 14 of the last 17 ties where they've had a 1-goal aggregate lead going into the second leg. They improved on that in the 3rd minute as a result of Ousmane Dembele's goal. But here comes the Bayern Munich response. Olise this time driving through the centre, looking for options either side, sets on the inside, but Vitinha managing to get a touch en route to knock him off stride, knock him off balance, and PSG come away with the ball. Is Nuno Mendes looking to feed in Ousmane Dembele, couldn't quite do so. One back by Jonathan Tah. Towards the halfway is Pavlovic, out to the left-hand side. Luis Díaz towards the edge of the penalty, up against Emery, inside the box he goes. Díaz looks to hook it back, couldn't quite find Musiala, and it's going to be cleared away by Vitinha for PSG. Desire Doué in the middle of his own half, being put under pressure by Pavlovic. Desire Emery will clear it forward, left-footed towards the half, where it's going to be picked up inside the centre circle by Upamecano. Here's Pavlovic, infield to Kane, towards Musiala. He's got Olise out to his right, finds him in space, edge of the air, inside the box he goes now. Olise sets on the inside, towards Musiala inside the D. Here's Pavlovic, towards Kimmich, comes off the referee, and it means that play's going to have to restart with a drop ball. João Pinheiro getting himself too involved in the action, much to the frustration of Vincent Kompany, because it just gives PSG the opportunity to reset. Here's Upamecano 30 yards out from goal on this right-hand side, in towards the path of Kimmich. Kimmich to Olise. Olise to the underlapping Musiala, gets the better of João Neves towards the dead ball line. Looked like that went, but the referee says play on, and PSG do manage to clear their lines, and then the linesman saying in the end the ball did go dead, and so it will be a PSG goal kick. But Bayern Munich getting more at it now as we approach the hour mark. It was a slow start to the second period, having been on top towards the end of the first half. PSG with an opportunity from Kvaratskhelia, but Neuer meeting it to the near post. The closest they come to extending their aggregate lead to 3 in the second period. Half an hour to go, and the Parisians half an hour away from a date with potential Champions League destiny in the Hungarian capital at the end of the month. But judging by what this tie's been like, expect the unexpected. Ball launched forward from Neuer. One back on the halfway, having originally given it away. In terms of the ball possession, 62% Bayern Munich, 38% PSG. PSG have had 4 corners. Bayern Munich haven't had a corner in the first hour of this game. When they say to the UEFA Champions League semi-final second leg, Bayern Munich 0, PSG 1. Is Pavlovic inside the air on this right-hand side for Bayern. Back in towards the path of Lima. Cross goes in. Came off of a PSG player. Kimmich towards Lima again. Here's Olise towards Pavlovic. Here's Stanisic. He's going to strike one low drilled for the side of his right foot from around about 25 yards out down the centre. Was looking to find the bottom right-hand corner, but it's a comfortable take down the throat by Matvei Safadov in the Paris Saint-Germain goal. Probably one of the easier takes he's going to have tonight as PSG move their way up the other end. Here's Desire Doué on the right-hand side, around about 25 yards out from goal. Hooks it back towards Marquinhos inside his own half. PSG are going to make their first change, the first change of the evening. Tom Bischkoff. So it's going to be set to come on here. Looking to settle things up as Bayern just have their best passage to play in this game. Doué goes down to the ground, but Emery does well to send Pavlovic to the floor, and he's still going here on this right-hand side. Up against Stanisic towards the edge of the penalty area. We'll go back now towards Doué again. Doué will play it back towards Marquinhos inside his own half. Bayern Munich will also make their first change. Kang In Lee will be coming on for the home side in just a second as Upamecano recovers possession for Bayern Munich. And they play it out towards Luis Díaz, think back by Marquinhos, comfortably into the feet of Safanov, who, because of the head back, can comfortably take hold as Harry Kane makes chase towards possession. Launches it out towards the possessor Jan Neves in the centre. Out towards Emery, halfway right-hand side. Back towards Neves again. Slips on the surface, but doesn't derail him too much. Here's Vitinha in possession now. With two in red up against him, and it goes towards Emery on this right-hand side. Short towards Doué. Doué towards Kvaratskhelia. Doué gets the better of two. Towards the edge of the area, steps inside. Good challenge from Stanisic to win it back for Bayern Munich, who recovered the ball. Now looking to work their way forward once more. Kimmich towards Pavlovic. Kane inside his own half, turning back to goal. And we'll play it out towards Olise, just inside Paris Saint-Germain territory. Here's Upamecano again. Looking to find a forward pass, but there's not a forward pass on, and so it's going to have to go short here to Conrad Lema, who brings it in. Phil from the right-hand side, driving past two. He's looking to find Kane. Poor pass in truth, and it's recovered by Emery rather easily. Here's Doué. He's managed to get his way past Stanisic, and now driving his way at Jonathan Tah. Gets on the outside of him. He's going to strike one on his right foot, parried away by Manuel Neuer. Another big save from the Bayern Munich goalkeeper to keep the German side in the tie. It's a decent effort from Doué. Struck it right footed, edge of the box. Was looking to find the bottom left-hand corner, parried away by Manuel Neuer. Both teams are going to make their first changes of the night, and for Paris Saint-Germain, it's going to be the goal scorer, Ousmane Dembele, who's going to depart. His strike in the third minute. The difference between the two. And the reason why Paris Saint-Germain will be heading to successive Champions League finals as things stand. A standing ovation for the fans right up in the gods here at the Allianz Arena. And he is going to be replaced by Tom Bischkoff for the remaining 25 minutes or so. Sorry, Bradley Barcolo is going to come on. My apologies. For Paris Saint-Germain. Bayern Munich have also made their first change. We'll tell you more on that in just a second. As we have 25 minutes of normal time to go here. Paris Saint-Germain with one more goal. No, they'll be in the final. Barcola in possession. I mean, still waiting to make that change. Alphonso Davies and Min Jae Kim said to come on for the home side, but Paris Saint-Germain find themselves through again here. Ball went into the penalty area, but Upamecano standing his ground. Here's Joshua Kimmich out to the right-hand side into Konrad Laimer. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1, with 24 minutes of normal time to go. Here's Luis Díaz. Bayern Munich needs something. They need something now inside the area. Drifts it to the centre from the left-hand side. Díaz just looking to set himself up to shoot. Plays it out low in towards the path of Konrad Laimer. Kimmich towards Laimer again. And here's Olise, right-hand side towards the edge of the penalty area. Two PSG players up against him. Cross goes in. And looking to find Pavlovic towards the 6-yard box, but just too high for him. And out of play will go for a Paris Saint-Germain goal kick. And Bayern Munich will make their first couple of changes. There's a Stanisic. First two depart for Alphonso Davies. Straight swap at right back. And Jonathan Tah is also going to depart. And Kim Min-jae is going to come on in his place. The substitutions being made in the 67th minute. It is Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1, and you are listening to the Champions League semi-final second leg here from the Allianz Arena on the Flash Score Live audio commentary service. It's 1-0 to PSG on the night, 6-4 they lead on aggregate. We'll play back in towards the path of Neuer by Upamecano, who gets fed the ball again, being put under pressure by Kvaratskhelia. Conrad Laimer gets past two. Real good trickle toes. Infield towards Musiala on the halfway. Out to the left and Luis Díaz. Díaz driving down this left-hand side up against Marquinhos. Inside the box he goes. Gets on the inside of him. He's looking to play it back. It's going to fall here though to Alphonso Davies, 25 yards out on this left. Musiala towards Davies. Gets better. Zeremi. Cross goes in. Díaz strikes one on the half volley on his right foot inside the box. Parried away by Safanov in the Paris Saint-Germain goal. There's a bit more zip about Bayern Munich now. Here's Pavlovic in towards Alphonso Davies, left-hand side just beyond the halfway. Back to Luis Díaz. Here's Alphonso Davies again. Being put under pressure by Zaire Emery. And Davies will play it back in towards the possession of Manuel Neuer. Neuer out to the right-hand side. Here's Joshua Kimmich to Upamecano, who is now operating on the right side of the Bayern Munich defence. Alphonso Davies chipped out to left back. Here is Pavlovic, just beyond the halfway, drifting it infield on the right-hand side, being put under pressure by Doué. And it goes to Elise, looking to run at Mendes again. Inside the box he goes, inside he goes. Elise's going to strike quite low, drilled on his left foot, but straight at Safanov between the sticks of Paris Saint-Germain. But they're not getting closer on the door, on the home side. But it feels like all their efforts are heading straight for the goalkeeper. Safanov, who so far this season making his 24th appearance, the 27-year-old Russian. Ball now up the other end. Vincent Kompany is not happy. Just over 20 minutes to go. 70 minutes on the clock. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1 on the night. 6-4 PSG lead on aggregate. Here's Désiré Doué. Moves it out towards Kimmich, but Doué wins it back. Right-hand side, right by the corner flag. Does want to keep it play. Towards the dead ball line. Hooks it back. Was going to find back Ola. But Bayern Munich are able to clear their lines. Musiala in towards Kim Min-jae. Nearly fell for Luis Díaz to break on the half. Cleared out. Kane applauds for the ball to come back quickly and takes the throw quickly on this left-hand side. Díaz following a layoff by Pavlovic. PSG with a nick of the ball, but the ball will go out for a Bayern Munich throw on this left-hand side. Remember, Bayern Munich need to find 2 goals to take this tie to extra time. Kimmich out towards Alphonso Davies. Left-hand side, just beyond the halfway, gets on the inside of Zaire Emery. Here's Joshua Kimmich in possession. Out to the right-hand side and towards Conrad Laimer. Laimer out towards Olise. Heavy first touch on this far side. Upamecano towards Olise again, who loses out. One back by Barcola. Here's Kvaratskhelia into the penalty area down the centre. Kvaratskhelia dances past 2! And then the effort struck by Désiré Doué on his left foot hits the side netting. And that really would have put the cap on the tie for Paris Saint-Germain. Doué striking it through the laces of his left foot, hits the side netting. Neuer probably would have matched if it was on target, but here come Bayern Munich up the other end. Here's Alphonso Davies, left-hand side, 25 yards out from goal. Plays it back towards the halfway, back in towards the path for Kim Min-jae. Pavlovic towards Kane, who turns. Edge of the tee out to Elise, inside the box on this right-hand side. Laimer making an overlapping run. Elise decides to play the ball in, cleared by Kvaratskhelia of all people. Ball being contested up in the air, won again by the Georgian number 7. Kim Min-jae wins it back, heavy touch, but does find Kimmich. Upamecano out to Elise again on this right-hand side. Edge of the box, going to play it in towards Laimer. Fabian Ruiz manages to just about clear it away. He just got his feet in a tangle. He managed to concede a throw rather than the corner. Elise on this right-hand side, back towards Upamecano, 25 yards out, steps in field, plays it forward, going to find Pavlovic. Musiala to Upamecano again, Joshua Kimmich, 25 yards out, will play it in towards Luis Díaz. Díaz, left side, up against Zaire Emery. Díaz, cross goes in, left-footed towards the back post, nobody there. Only half cleared by PSG. A foot through it. There's Fabian Ruiz. And he's going to be picked up on the halfway here by Alphonso Davies on the left-hand side for Bayern Munich. 14 attempts they've had, PSG with 10. PSG have 5 shots on target compared to Bayern Munich's 4. And here comes Elise again, driving on this right-hand side against Mendes. Cross goes in, and Pacho's left foot steers it behind for a corner for a second. I think Matvei Safanov was expecting the worst. But Bayern Munich with a corner on this right-hand side. By my recollection, that's the first corner they've had all night. Remember, they need 2 goals to force this tie to extra time. Elise's corner towards the near post, parried away by Safanov. It's going to be washed out by Alphonso Davies. It's going to go for Bayern Munich from this left-hand side, right by the corner quadrant. Davies plays it back towards the path of Luis Díaz. Díaz infield towards the path of Kim Min-jae. Jae to Lima. Cross goes in right-footed towards the penalty spot. Cleared away before he can find Luis Díaz. And it may fall here for Bradley Barcola, and it may well do so because it's not the best of clearances there by Alphonso Davies, but Upamecano bails his teammate out, then punted away by Alphonso Davies. And the damage will only be a PSG throw. Could have been a lot worse. Barcola winning the ball back, putting it over the top of Upamecano before his teammate Alphonso Davies bails him out of bother. Towards the final quarter of an hour here. Bayern Munich 0, PSG 1 on the night. 6-4 PSG lead on aggregate. And here's the visitors, the defending European champions who have possession. And it goes to Kvaratskhelia to Vitinha on this left side. The far side as we look at it. With 3 red bodies up against him. Hooks it back towards the half. Chested down by Pacho. Out in towards the possession of Nuno Mendes. And it goes towards the right-hand side as they do a 25 yards out from the Bayern Munich goal. It's across to Kvaratskhelia, takes a touch, brings it down, strikes one, comes off a Kimmich, it's going to fall for Doué though, inside the air, looks to bring it in on his left foot, strikes it just wide of the bottom right-hand post by a couple of yards. Tried to set himself up into a decent position there, Desiree Doué. Didn't get the shot away, unable to make anything of it. More changes going to be made here by the Parisians. It's going to see the departure of Desiree Doué. Lucas Hernandez is going to come on in his place. And we're also going to see the arrival of Lucas Beraldo and Fabian Ruiz coming off just to bolster that defensive line for the final quarter of an hour that remains. PSG are 14 minutes plus stoppage time away from the Champions League final again for the 2nd consecutive season, and a date with Arsenal will await. Bayern Munich need to do something rather crazy, even by these tied standards. They need to find 2 in the final quarter of an hour to enforce extra time. Kim Min-jae towards Luis Díaz. Kim Min-jae inside the centre circle again for Bayern Munich. Short towards the path of Pavlovic. Upamecano. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1. Ousmane Dembele's 3rd minute goal, the difference on the night. PSG have a 6-4 lead on aggregate. Elise with the top to Kimmich. They need 2 to force extra time. Upamecano towards the halfway. Here's Kim Min-jae. Forward looking to find Musiala. Does well. Out to Luis Díaz, left-hand side. Pokes it for a 3rd time. Kane inside the box. Being stood up by Marquinhos. Being forced out wide to the left. 2 up against him. Kane plays it back to Davies. Does well to find the pass. Now here's Kim Min-jae. Out to Alphonso Davies. Towards Kane on the underlap. Against Marquinhos, being forced back. Davies, here's Pavlovic again, in towards the possession of Upamecano. Now here's Pavlovic once more. Here's Díaz, does well, gets past João Neves, into the area it goes, back-killed by Musiala. They want a penalty or at least a free kick, and the decision's gone against, and now things really have kicked off, and it's a yellow card for Luis Díaz. Temper's just flaring somewhat. Joshua Kimmich goes over to try and give an explanation to the referee. Now, Luis Díaz, the second Bayern Munich player to find himself in the book tonight. Joseph Stanisic was the other. Well, he said he was brought down by Lucas Beraldo on the edge of the penalty area. The referee says that was simulation, that he went down too easily. Well, Musiala's night has come to a close. And he's going to be replaced by Nicholas Jackson. Bayern Munich in need of a spot, but here's Kane to finish off the tie for Paris Saint-Germain. He was one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Brilliant from Upamecano to stop the damage from being worse. Kvaratskhelia found himself through on goal to finish off the tie. He is being stood up though, initially by Kim Min-jae. And Upamecano doing what he needed to do. So it's going to be a corner here to Paris Saint-Germain on this right-hand side. 11 minutes to go. Bayern Munich 0, PSG 1, 6-4 on aggregate. It's going to be Vitinha to take this corner for PSG. It's going to be a right-footed delivery on this right-hand side. And it's in towards the 6-yard box. It pinballs around the air. It's going to come back out to Vitinha again. Edge of the penalty area. Cross goes in right-footed towards the back post. It eludes everyone. It's going to come back out to Kvaratskhelia again on the left. I think it's Conrad Lima. Gets on the inside of him. Cross goes in. Low drill across the face of the penalty area. Couldn't quite fall in the end for João Neves. And we'll go out of play. And it's going to be a Paris Saint-Germain corner. Last touch coming off a Dayot Upamecano. 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes separating Paris Saint-Germain and the UEFA Champions League final again. Their third final. Their second in as many years. Looking to win it for the second time in as many years. Vitinha heads across to the left side to take this corner with beer cups being pelted at him. He's going to swing it in on his right foot. Towards the near post, glanced away by Kane of all people. Olise now looks to lead the Bayern Munich charge up the field. Being put under pressure by Kvaratskhelia and then João Neves. Kvaratskhelia concedes a foul. It's going to be a free kick to Bayern Munich, taken quickly. Here's Alphonso Davies driving. He's got Nicholas Jackson out to his left. Forward to Kane, back to goal. Here's Davies. Jackson, left-hand side. Edge of the penalty area here for Bayern Munich. Plays it back to Alphonso Davies. Davies gets past Barcola, brings him down. He's been told to get back up, but the free kick has been conceded. Barcola forcing his side into a bit of a hole here. Angled his right leg out. So Davies did go down rather easily. With the free kick decision going the way of Bayern Munich. And an opportunity here right on the edge of the penalty area to put one into the box. Kimmich might think about going for this direct. 2 in the PSG wall. 8.5 minutes to go. He's signing 2 goals to force extra time. Kimmich floats it in towards the back post, but the referee did hold play because there was a bit of pushing and shoving inside the penalty area. Mendes and Kane, 2 chief architects of that. And so take 2 for the Bayern Munich free kick. 8 minutes to go. Bayern Munich 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1, 6-4 aggregate to the Parisians. Kimmich's free kick. Towards the back post again. Parried away by Safanov. Big right hand to get it away from danger. We'll come back out to Elise though on this right hand side. Infield towards Pavlovic. Here's Alphonso Davies. Out to the left hand side. Here's Luis Díaz, who himself in a bit of a muddle. Gave Zaire-Emery a bit of time to then put the press on him. Kimmich towards Davies. Davies back towards the path for Upamecano. And now here is Conrad Lima, right side just beyond the halfway. Olise back towards Lima again. Upamecano being forced into his own half, given away. Kvaratskhelia plays the ball forward in towards the possession. Nuno Mendes, who struck in on his left foot but wide a goal. Just thrashed at it when he didn't necessarily have to. And so Bayern Munich can build themselves again. Here's Kimmich. Out towards the right-hand side and towards Conrad Lima. Beyond the halfway is Nicholas Jackson on this right-hand side for Bayern Munich, being put under pressure by William Pacho. The ball goes out. It's going to be a throw into Bayern Munich. It's going to be Mikel Olise to take. Right-hand side, 5 yards from the edge of opposition territory. And Luis Enrique, having a chat with his coaching staff, knows that his team are under the pump. Now, Bayern are going to bring on Leonard Kyle, it looks like, at the next break in play. I mean, they would have used 4 of their 5 substitutes in doing so. 6.5 minutes to go. Needing 2 goals. Kane gets his way past João Neves on this left-hand side. Driving at him again. We're going to win the ball back again. Does so, and fairly, and turns towards the edge of the penalty area. Then brought down by Marquinhos. Keeps a hold of the ball, but the PSG number 5 gets it away and wins a free kick. Much to the annoyance of the England captain, who hasn't really been able to impact the game tonight like he has done in his previous 6 Champions League ties. I think Upamecano is going to be the man to be sacrificed for Leonard Carl here. All hands to the pump. 5 minutes plus stoppage time for Bayern Munich to save their Champions League skin, needing 2 goals to force extra time. Nuno Mendes' evening's going to come to an end. He's going to be replaced by Seni Mayulu for the remaining 5 minutes plus stoppage time that remains here in Bavaria. We're back to 2. All in the hands of their goalkeeper, Manuel Neuer. Bayern Munich 0, PSG 1 on the night. 6-4 Paris Saint-Germain lead on aggregate. Not the best of passes back by Kim Min-jae to his goalkeeper Neuer. Davies finds himself in a bit of bother. Back to Neuer, who launches it towards the halfway again. Díaz being brought down by Marquinhos. He wanted a free kick and he's going to get a free kick. And Marquinhos, the PSG captain, is going to find himself in the book. He's going to be taken left-hand side, just beyond the halfway inside Paris Saint-Germain territory. It's going to be Joshua Kimmich to take. And this game getting rather fighty towards the end. Díaz just couldn't quite bring it down. Cleared away by PSG. It's going to be picked up by Alphonso Davies. Chested down by Joshua Kimmich. Here's Pavlovic in possession. Out towards Alphonso Davies again. Driving it, Zaire Emery gets the better of him. Alphonso Davies, heavy touch, which allows Zaire back in towards the race, and the ball's going to go out of play, knocked out for a Paris Saint-Germain goal kick. Well, the PSG Ultras up at the very, very gods here at the Allianz Arena, setting flares off, singing their songs, knowing that the Champions League final now is very much in reach. 3.5 minutes plus stoppage time from a return to the big match. And an opportunity to retain the title they won 12 months ago. Only Real Madrid in the Champions League era have ever retained the Champions League trophy when they won 3 in a row in 2016, 17 and 18. PSG could be within a few minutes of rewinding their history. Or are they? Here's Luis Díaz. Díaz inside the area, gets to the inside of Marquinhos, plays it across in towards the path of Leonard Carl, in towards the path of Lima, pills for a handball, waves away. It's going to go back in towards the hands of Matvei Safonov in the PSG goal. But Bayern Munich insisted there was a handball in there. But Vincent Kompany rallying his troops back because here's Kvaratskhelia. Opportunity to kill the time once and for all. Barcola, left side. Here's Kim Min-jae, steps on the inside, strikes one again, parried away by Neuer. That's the third big save he's made to keep his team in the tie. And it's going to go for PSG corner on the right-hand side. Kvaratskhelia happy to let it go. It's a big left hand for Manuel Neuer. Just having a look at the incident again. No handball anywhere to be seen. No. João Neves just tucking his arm in towards his chest. I think that's more than okay. And so the VAR and the official Marco De Bello of Italy. So 2 minutes of normal time to go. Corner taken short for Paris Saint-Germain. And the ball in the possession of Warren Zaire-Emery. Here's Vitinha driving through the centre. 3 red shirts up against him. Towards the possession of Bradley Barcola. Just couldn't quite get his footing towards it. And now Bayern Munich move their way forward with Alexander Pavlovic. Out towards Nicholas Jackson on this right-hand side. Finds Olise. Space has opened up for him. He's up against Luis Bernardo. Towards the edge of the box, the cross goes in. Flicked away by Marquinhos. Bernardo gets it away again. Here is Bradley Barcola. But here's Kim Min-jae recovering the effort for Bayern Munich. Forward by Olise. Towards Nicholas Jackson. Edge of the area on this right-hand side. Inside the box he goes. 2 up against him. Looking for options. Crosses it into the back post. But it's just too high for Harry Kane. And it's just not been his night in front of goal this evening. Ball goes out. Marquinhos celebrates that like a goal of his teammate Warren Zaire-Emery. Final minute of normal time. Paris Saint-Germain, Budapest bound it seems. And a date with Champions League destiny. And a date with Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Luis Enrique was in a Bielsa-esque position, trudged down onto the floor, knowing that the task is almost complete. If the first leg was all about attacks, the second leg it has been all about defences. Here's Díaz forward in towards the path of Pavlovic. The ball goes out. It's another Bayern Munich throw. We enter stoppage time at the end of the 90. It's an up four in the PSG technical area, which the fourth official has to sort out. 5 minutes added on at the end of the 90. Bayern Munich nil, PSG 1 on the night. 6-4 PSG lead on aggregate in this UEFA Champions League semi-final. Pavlovic, PSG 5 minutes away from the final. But what have Bayern Munich got by way of response? Lima forward, cleared away by Lucas Hernandez of Paris Saint-Germain. Lofts it upfield, headed on by Neuer into the path of Kimmich in the centre circle. Alphonso Davies. They need to get one now if they have any chance. Here's Luis Díaz. Inside it gets past Zaire-Emery, hooks it back. Díaz still. It's popped around the penalty area. Jackson looked to loft it over the goalkeeper, but couldn't quite get any power behind it. And it's a comfortable take for Matvei Safonov in the Paris Saint-Germain goal. He's just going to launch it upfield, away from lurking danger. They're not going to find Barcola. Not the best of headers from Kim Min-jae, but he does win it back. Kimmich towards Neuer. And that red wall still waving their flags, but that energy, that exuberant energy we saw here at the beginning of the night has certainly turned into more anxious energy. And perhaps that eternal hope has turned into elongated deflation. Here's Kimmich turning on the half. Out towards Alphonso Davies. Davies looking to find Luis Díaz. Does so on this left-hand side. Up against Zaire-Emery. He's had his number all night. Díaz steps inside. Looks to get the shot away. Looks to thread it through. I thought for a second he was going to take the shot, but tried to play it in towards Leonard Carl. PSG clear their lines. Kvaratskhelia in possession. Plays it forward. Nobody there. But it's just away from trouble. That's all he worries about right now. Kim Min-jae towards Alexander Pavlovic. Just beyond the half. 2 of the 5 being played. The ball played in by Alphonso Davies. Hooked clear by PSG. Barcola gets himself onto the ball, but a heavy touch. Sees Bayern Munich win a throw. Taken quickly back towards Kim Min-jae. 2.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. Luis Enrique can barely watch as Leonard Carl bears in on goal here Inside he goes, only half clear. Kimmich out towards Luis Díaz, heavy touch. Zaire-Emery manages to only hook it half clear. Díaz again. But this time Kvaratskhelia gets there. He looks to wrestle his way out of danger. He wins a free kick. And that's celebrated like a goal. Half the PSG bench almost on the pitch. Just 2 more minutes to see out. And a return to the Champions League final. And a meeting with Arsenal. They probably feel as if that is job done. That 3rd minute goal from Ousmane Dembele, the difference maker on the night and in the tie. Launched forward by Safanov. He won't care, it's been kicked into touch. Well, this tie is to go to extra time. We'll need the craziest passage in it. Because Bayern Munich need to find 2 in 90 seconds. Here's Leonard Cole. Space has opened up here, perhaps surprisingly. Here's Conrad Lima driving down this right-hand side. Out towards Olise. Olise up against Lucas Hernandez. Manages to get a touch, but he's going to come back out towards Kimmich again. And now here's Alphonso Davies. Slits through Kane. Kane turns, shoots, scores! And we have a grandstand finish all of a sudden. Bayern get one back. And they've got just over a minute to find a second. Harry Kane, of course it is. The first English player to score in 7 consecutive Champions League games. Gives them the faintest glimmers of hope. He turned inside the area, shot on his left foot, rifled it into the top left-hand corner. And Bayern Munich, with a minute of added time at the end of the 90 to play, bring it back to 6-5 on aggregate. And now have a minute to try and force extra time. Well, the Paris Saint-Germain bench almost sink back to their seats. There is a revitalised, a rejuvenated, a renewed belief about Bayern Munich. Harry Kane's 14th Champions League goal of the season. But that would be an academic fact if it means nothing. We've probably got about a minute of normal time left. A minute of stoppage time, shall I say, left. Bayern Munich have to get this ball up the pitch. It goes back to Neuer, towards Alphonso Davies. There's no way they can force this tie to extra time from here. We're beyond the additional 5, but as I say, there's still time to burn. Panovic towards Díaz. Alphonso Davies to Kimmich. And now out towards this right-hand side. Luis Enrique employing everybody back. Olise loses possession. Lucas Hernandez on back by Olise. Ball goes out. Paris Saint-Germain throw. That could well be it. Well, Bayern Munich have knocked on the door. Marquinhos is down inside the D, proclaiming cramp. Harry Kane saying, I hope you had that on, ref. Well, Luis Enrique is probably the most impatient man inside the Allianz Arena tonight, and how can you possibly blame him? Vincent Kompany with that cool exterior, but I'm sure on the inside, the heart rate is going 10 to the dozen. Well, this really has been one of the best Champions League semi-finals over 2 legs you will ever see. The first leg, one of the greatest one-off ties. The second leg may not have had the goals, but it certainly had the drama, the incident, the controversy. Probably one final play from here. Bayern Munich do win the ball back. Here's Olise. Back towards Pavlovic. Here's Harry Kane. Kane looking to get the cross into the area. He couldn't quite do so. Pavlovic with possession, and the full-time whistle blows. Paris Saint-Germain make back-to-back Champions League finals. The holders of the competition will head to Budapest to do something that only Real Madrid have ever done in the Champions League era, and that is to retain the trophy. The Puskás Arena and Arsenal await for Luis Enrique's side. The two managers embrace after one of the best UEFA Champions League semi-finals you will ever bear witness. It is bedlam in the PSG technical area. They had to hang on at the end. Harry Kane's goal right at the death made a grandstand finish. But it was Ousmane Dembele strike in the 3rd minute that gave them that cushion, that comfort. And it was that 5-4 win last week in the French capital, which has ultimately paid dividends. Paris Saint-Germain, UEFA Champions League finalists again. They have beaten Bayern Munich by 6-5 on aggregate after a 1-1 draw on the night. And so the 2026 UEFA Champions League final will be contested in the city of Budapest by Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain. What a night for the Parisians. Bayern Munich proclaim what could have been. But it is Luis Enrique's side that head to the big dance again. Full time on the night. Bayern Munich won, Paris Saint-Germain won. But it is PSG who go through 6-5 in aggregate to take on Arsenal in the 2026.
Test, 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 Test 1, 2, 3, Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
Grande reabertura, Feira dos Sofás, batalha, sem IVA e prémios para todos os visitantes, mesmo sem fazerem compras, esta sexta, sábado e domingo.
So, machen wir mal kurz einen Soundcheck. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Das ist der Soundcheck. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kurzer Soundcheck. Sprecht ihr einfach gerne auch in die Kanäle rein. Klingt noch ein bisschen komisch da, aber ich glaube, ich habe ein bisschen... Das muss ich nochmal einstellen. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Das passt. Ja, sehr gut. Wunderbar. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Habt ihr alle Sprachen, die ihr braucht? Are you satisfied with the sound as well? Perfect. All fine? Gut. Schaut gut aus.
Obtenha até 50% de desconto e beneficie da entrega grátis. Compre agora em beliani.pt.
A maior seleção, preços atrativos. Beliani.pt.